Welcome back to Ghost Powered Entertainment. I'm your host, Kanan Becker, and today we do another deep dive into Netflix. Alright, so for those of you not familiar with this channel, once a week I go searching through the popular streaming platforms and come up with 10 horror movies to recommend to you guys. This week, I went searching through Netflix and came up with 10 more horror movies that I think you will enjoy. And with that, let's get to the list!
Please, Lord, forgive us.
So Apostle is a 2018 period horror drama, written, directed, and edited by Gareth Evans. It stars Dan Stevens, Lucy Boynton, Michael Sheen, and Bill Milner. So a prodigal son returns home, only to find out that his sister is being held by a religious cult.
Your sister, she's gone. These people, they're blasphemers. A cult, a disease. Bring her home.
Determined to get her back, he travels to the remote island where the cult lives. As he infiltrates into the island's community, he learns of corruption in the cult, as well as an evil far more terrifying than he could have ever imagined. This movie is brilliant. It looks gorgeous with outstanding cinematography. The acting is on a high level, and the score is moody and haunting. Just everything about this movie is well done. There were moments in this movie that are jarring, just plain unsettling and disturbing. And it's very artistic, like an art house style, yet it's never slow or boring. It's moving and really gets to you, yet it's never depressing. So if you've never seen this, do yourself a favor and make this the next thing you watch. So The Darkness is a 2016 supernatural horror movie. It's directed by Greg McLean and starring Kevin Bacon, Rhoda Mitchell, and David Mazouz. It's about a family who goes on vacation to the Grand Canyon and brings home a supernatural force that feeds off fear and takes over their lives.
Legend says that the guardians of their spirit world lived in the rocks and the trees. That one day, they're going to come back into our world.
So this isn't anything too deep or serious, just a fun popcorn spooky horror movie. But it's well shot and directed and just looks great overall. This isn't the most original horror movie I've ever seen, but it does have enough creative elements that it keeps you interested and never feels boring or regurgitated. It's also well paced and doesn't feel slow, with some fun little jumps from time to time and well done special effects. So this is a fun little popcorn Saturday night horror movie that I definitely think you can have fun with. So The Block Island Sound is a 2020 sci-fi horror thriller. It's written and directed by Kevin and Matthew McManus and stars Chris Sheffield and Michaela McManus. So the story is about a fisherman's family who encounter horrors and dark truths when an ominous force starts killing off wildlife off of Block Island.
Well, we got a bit of a fish problem.
A lot of strange activity lately, then.
So this is an odd movie that just feels different. It's very unique, disturbing, unsettling, and bleak. It's also a bit of a slow burn, mostly a dialogue-driven movie, but it does have some exciting moments as well. It's a small movie that really relies on the acting, but the whole cast does a great job of keeping you invested. So for fans of strange, creative indie movies, this is a great pick. So Nobody Sleeps in the Woods Tonight is a 2020 Polish supernatural slasher. It's written and directed by Bartosz Kowalski and starring Julia Wieniawa and Michelle Lupa. So it's about a group of technology-dependent teenagers who go to an offline camp where they are disconnected from the outside world. But unbeknownst to the teens, there's a deadly killer lurking in the woods. This is an old-fashioned slasher, really reminded me of the 80s slashers like The Burning and Sleepaway Camp. But it does have some fun new elements to it as well. It has gore and creative kills with plenty of mindless teens to be bumped off.
Did you know in Poland 15,000 people disappear every year, a third of them in the woods?
Guess we're contributing to the stats this year.
The killer's gritty with a unique look and style as well. They also recently dropped the sequel to this movie, but I have yet to check it out. This is just an entertaining, bloody throwback slasher that I definitely think is worth your time.
What they want is a god. So let's give it to them.
So Death Note is a 2017 supernatural crime thriller. It's adapted from the Japanese manga of the same name and is directed by Anna Wingard and stars Nat Wolff, Lakeith Stanfield, Willem Dafoe, and Shea Wingham. It's a story about a high school student who finds a mysterious supernatural notebook known as the Death Note, which can kill anyone whose name is written in it.
The human whose name is written in this note shall die.
Shall we begin?
So I've heard a lot of people are not big on this movie, mostly because it isn't true to the source material, which I totally get, but I'm not familiar with any of that whatsoever, so I went into this completely blind. And I gotta be honest, I was entertained. It has a unique story with creative plot twists, it's well performed by the entire cast, but the main draw for me was Willem Dafoe, who voices the character of Ryuk, and he just really made this movie entertaining and worth a watch.
You're a death god.
Yes.
So this isn't a game changer, but I do think it's entertaining and one I think you should definitely check out. So Hallow Man is a 2000 sci-fi horror thriller, directed by Paul Verhoeven and stars Elizabeth Shue, Kevin Bacon, and Josh Brolin. It's inspired by the H.G. Wells 1897 novel, The Invisible Man. It tells the story of Sebastian Kane, a scientist who volunteers to be the first human test subject given a serum that renders the user invisible.
Sebastian? Are you in here?
But when his fellow scientists are unable to restore him back to normal, he eventually becomes violently insane and goes on a murderous rampage.
You have no idea what it's like. The power of it, the freedom. It's amazing what you can do when you don't have to look at yourself in the mirror anymore.
This is an entertaining little gem, and one that has kind of been forgotten in a lot of ways. It does feel somewhat dated, especially because of the CGI. But at the same time, it does still hold up in a lot of ways. Kevin Bacon does a fantastic job of just portraying a man who's losing his mind. You can just tell that he's having a great time with this role. I think this is just an entertaining little gem that you can definitely have fun with. So Hush is a 2016 slasher horror movie written, directed, and edited by Mike Flanagan. It stars Kate Segal, who also co-wrote it with Flanagan, and is produced by Blumhouse. So it's about a deaf writer who is retreated into the woods to live a solitary life, but must fight for her life in silence when a mass killer appears at her window. It's a small movie, but in the hands of a creative mind like Mike Flanagan, nothing feels boring or small. And the simple idea that our lead can't hear adds a fantastic, downright terrifying element. Kate Segal is brilliant in this, like she always is. She's very convincing and plays a savage final girl role. This movie is intense, with lots of surprises as well. It's a simple concept that's done to perfection, and it's sadly underrated, but it's a movie that I highly recommend. So The Cave is a 2005 action horror movie. It's directed by Bruce Hunt and stars Cole Hauser, Eddie Cibrian, Morris Chestnut, and Lena Headey. The story follows a group of cave divers and scientists who become trapped while exploring a cave system in Romania, and while trying to find a way to escape, encounter a pack of deadly creatures. So this is a movie I'm always surprised at that I don't hear more people talk about. It has a fun setup with a great cast. It's exciting and full of action as well. It also has well-designed creatures and special effects. It's not super scary, but it does have plenty of exciting creature moments. It's just entertaining as hell and one definitely worth checking out. So Identity is a 2003 neo-noir thriller directed by James Mangold. It stars John Cusack, Ray Liotta, Amanda Peet, and Alfred Molina. So stranded at a desolate motel in Nevada during a nasty rainstorm, 10 strangers become acquainted with each other and start being killed off one by one.
There was a storm.
It was an accident. We had an accident.
And we got stuck and we couldn't get out. We couldn't get out because of the storm.
This movie is such a great, mind-bending psychological thrill ride. It has so much mystery and style and just keeps you off kilter the whole time. And it has an absolutely brilliant cast who all just give outstanding performances. But the twists and turns, especially at the end, are what really make this movie worth checking out. It just keeps you guessing the whole time, which really just keeps you involved. It's really a good old-fashioned whodunit mystery with horror elements that I definitely recommend you check out.
Use your imaginations.
Du musst dich um meinen Sohn kümmern.
Ich verspreche es.
So Blood Red Sky is a 2021 British-German action horror movie. It's directed by Peter Thorwarth and stars Roland Moller, Perry Balmister, and Alexander Scheer. So when a group of terrorists hijack an overnight transatlantic flight, a mysterious woman must unleash a monster secret to protect her son.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. As you can see, we have control of the plane.
So this is a great bloody vampire movie, but with unique flair. Just feels different. Just the gritty way that it's shot, the style, just the overall look and feel. And a big portion of this movie takes place in close quarters on this airplane, which leads to some awesome bloody violence. It's well shot and directed with plenty of action to keep you tuned in. This is an exciting, action-packed horror movie that I think is definitely worth adding to your list. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for me today. Please leave your comments down below. Let me know if there's any movies that I should check out. Your recommendations help me out so much. Also, if you could do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and ding that little bell, because that is the best way to keep track of this channel. And when I post videos like this, and I post videos like this every single week, I also want to give a huge, massive, enormous thank you to my patrons, because you guys, your support seriously means so much to me. And if you would like to find out more about becoming a patron, the link is down in the description. And like always, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button. And remember guys, horror can be fun. I will see you guys next time.